welcome back and thanks for joining us. If you're just joining us, it's Daybreak on Trust Television. It's a newspaper review segment, and we are now joined in the studio by the editor of 21st Century Chronicle. Today I am running out of adjectives to qualify him. I've said friend several times, several times, but it's a pleasure to have you join us in the studio. I'm talking about no other than Nuruddin Abdullah.
Good morning,
you are looking good as always, even though you had not come to the studio with my salaram, as the case may be. But jumping straight into the paper reviews this morning, and of course starting with the Daily Trust, we saw the story on the ultimatum, if you like, given to the British High Commissioner by IPOP, and interestingly saying that there are plots to assassinate her. The Commission seemed to be quiet over it, but we have experts saying this shows the height of insecurity. Threatening the British High Commission is as good as threatening the British Prime Minister on our soil. How would you respond to this story?
Yes, it's the fact that the security situation in the country, particularly the southeast, has been deteriorating in the last 1 year. You can see, if you look at even the statistics by the federal government, the attacks on federal facilities, we're talking about military facilities, police checkpoints, INEC offices, and what have you, as well as a spate of assassinations. Take Anambra, for instance. The abduction, brutal murder of lawmakers, it's so gruesome. So, and it is, I think it has become a story simply because it involves the British. Nnamdi Kanu, the IPOP leader, who is in detention, facing trial, is a British citizen. That is it. And if you follow the case, he sought, his lawyer severally wrote to the British government to provide him with
protection, sort of.
Yes, legal services or help, as he faced the trial, the Federal High Court here in Abuja. And there was even a time, I think the British Embassy here in Abuja sent a representative. And the federal government, on the other hand, has been engaging the British government about this IFOB issue. The issue of a plan by the British government to grant the political asylum to IPOP members, has been stalled for some time now because of the because of the diplomatic approachment by the federal government. So, all in all, you should know that there are two ways. Yes, Nnamdi Kanu is a British citizen, but he's facing trial in Nigeria, and the British government is being cautious, particularly the violent nature that Biafran agitation has snowballed into in the last 1 year. You remember when they were about to grant that asylum or whatever, policy, the federal government reeled out some data. The number of facilities, federal facilities destroyed, the number of security agencies killed and whatever, by unknown gunmen who we all believe have affiliations with the IPOP, directly or indirectly. But whether it is Nnamdi Kanu that is instigating that or not is something that can be determined by the court. So more importantly now, and I don't even know, because Southeast, just like the Southwest, Northwest now, has been, the Western governments have slammed travel advisory, no travels at all. So I'm even wondering why the British envoy is going to do it in the north, in the southeast. Take Anambra, for instance. For Northwest, for more than a year, they update their advisory. It's a no.
It's a no-no.
It's a no-no area. It's a part of the northeast in particular. You understand. So these are the things that is going to happen. I know at any given opportunity, the Buhari's government, try to explain to the British government, okay, this guy is facing trial. Allow our judicial system to have its full course. He can't defend himself. And you can see the way the president has been persistent. He rejected all appeals by the Ohanese group, by the traditional rulers, by some eminent people from the south to release Nnamdi Kanu. Because he said, no, Nnamdi Kanu has been accused of instigating violence in the Northeast, which is still ongoing. And now we have him, so he has to clear his name in a court of law. So I think these are some of the
intricacies.
Intricacies, because anything can happen. It's unknown gunmen.
Yes. So talking about this unknown gunmen issue, I want us to expand a little bit on it and juxtapose it with the going into an election year now. What does this portend for the 2023 general election? Because we have serious instability in the southeast, and of course you mentioned it, the northwest as well. What does this portend for 2023?
I think there will be high rate of voter apathy. It's clear. And one thing I may be surprised is, some of the candidates, I don't want to mention names, they have, it's something that they should have tackled. Because apparently, there are only very few areas that election will be held in the southeast. Just yesterday, in Enugu, remember, I saw the INEC National Commissioner saying that unknown gunmen attacked INEC officials. Because the continued voter registration did not take place. And now there is agitation, particularly now that some people have woken up from their political slumber. They saw the figures. They realized that out of the 10 million that was done recently, and some people are missing. So now there is the agitation for extension. It has been extended, but they can't even go there. So you saw what happened. They attack INEC officials, destroy even the registration machines. They attack INEC offices in almost all the local governments in the southeast. They attack the officials. In some cases, they were even killed. So just look at this now, and by unknown government. This is coupled with the sit-at-home order, So I don't know, it's a self-inflicting catastrophe. You want to grab political power, but you are chasing away your people from registering. It can't be through coup. You understand? It has to be through the ballot. But they are not even registering. You are annihilating any symbol of authority in those areas. So apparently, by 2023, there are areas that are no, just like we mentioned. Because you can't take ad hoc staff, you can't take INEC to those places because nobody can guarantee their safety. So at the end of the day,
no voting.
Very strange. When you talk about these unknown gunmen, some people call them unknown men or men gone known, whatever the nomenclature is. I think it's about time that as a state we begin to unmask the unknown faces behind these heinous crimes, if you like. But moving on to other reports, yesterday the defense headquarters said they had killed 48 terrorists and another 3,858 surrendered in 2 weeks in the Northeast. My worry, if you like, well, qualify it as you may, is that this defense headquarters killing would always come after a major attack had happened, or maybe after the president had charged them to go after these terrorists. And unlike what we see with the terrorist attack, which has this symbol of fear, they record the attack, they are brazen, we see footages, we see images, we see testimonials from communities of how daring, these attacks are. The one from the Nigerian military seem to be happening peacefully and quietly, except they give us the figures. We really, we have no way of even verifying these figures other than just relying on the statements from the defense quarter? Does it make you worry? I mean, without casting aspersion on the success that have been recorded by the DHS HQ?
I think the military authorities are still struggling with a proper communication strategy. Because in the last 12 years that we have been battling insurgency in particular, that has been the military trend. But there was even a time that a crisis communication center, I think Abuja here, they were doing, I think, weekly briefings or the monthly briefings, you know, with footages and what have you. Because the truth is, Nigerians need to read this through the media. They no longer believe what the military authorities are saying. You know, and this is not the first time. The last batch of service chiefs, you know, they killed Sheikho, the Kingpin terrorist, Kingpin Abubakar Sheikho, more than 7 times. Just until he was finally killed by a rival gang. God bless them for eliminating that. You understand? So they they dish out figures from Abuja. You remember at the peak of the insurgency, I think it was during the Jonathan's time, you know, when we invited Chadian troops under the then president, it was Daybreak, you know. In the battlefield, we rely on journalists, you know, embedded with the Chadian troops. It is not that somebody will sit down in Jamena and be dishing out we have. No. They record it, and it was real, you understand? But in the case of Nigeria, I don't know. They haven't gotten it right up to now. And that's why, you know, okay, just sit down. In the last 6 months, just content analyze the statements by the DHQ, the Defense Headquarters, the Nigerian Army, maybe the Nigerian Air Force. They neutralize the, you know, the adjectives or the words they use. Content analyze. How many were killed? How many are these people that you keep on killing? Double digit, triple digits, almost every other day, every other week. How many are they? During the last regime, you know, they were busy killing the commanders. So I remember in the newsroom, I said, how many commanders do Boko Haram have? You understand? Because they will say they eliminated a Shura Council meeting in blah blah. They eliminated 100 commanders. So it's every Boko Haram terrorist a commander out of it. So that is the problem. The narrative, they need to actually repackage the narrative. And the problem is, Nigerian journalists in particular, we have access. You know, it's a modern day. No matter how remote a village is, there is somebody with 5,000 or 10,000 androids. You said you kill 100 terrorists, let's say in Borno or in Birnugo out of here. Somebody will pick his phone, a witness, will say, no military came. These people were in this village for so hours. He will speak to the BBC, or he will speak to Daily Trust or any other newspaper to counter
position of the DHQ.
What is it? So the narrative, and I don't want the military to look at it. Journalists, our role is to report.
And to verify, by the way.
And to verify. You understand, our role, is, everybody's role has been defined. Their role is to defend the integrity, sovereignty of the country. You understand? And the journalist's role, you know, there is always a conflict. When you try to fact check, or then they will look at you, you don't love the country. No. Do your work, we do ours. You help us by telling us the truth, and we have the right to ask questions. If we are winning the war, we should know we are winning the war. But we cannot be winning the war in Abuja, in boardrooms of spokespersons of the military agencies, whereas people have been killing the villages. Look at Shiroro, for instance. And that is why the community, in particular, affected by this. Look at Shiroro. They have now in most of these areas affected by bandit in Niger State, they have community development associations. In Birnungwari, you know, because they realize that there is no synergy between what is actually happening and what is being said in Abuja. That's why there is Birnungwari Development Community, where all these attacks, the figures and whatever, the reality is being so I think there is need for the military, because nobody longer believes them.
Exactly.
We saw what happened in Shiroro.
Well, we'll x-ray that some more, and we'll put a pin in that, and we'll x-ray that some more. Right now, we'll take a short break, and when we return, the analysis continues. Just stay with us.
TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Welcome back to Daybreak on Trust TV. Well, before we went on our short break, we were just analyzing some of the headlines on the front pages of newspapers, and of course, specifically some of the reports coming in from the DHQ concerning the amount of, or the number of terrorists or insurgents that were neutralized, so to speak. Before we went on that break, we were talking about how there's disparity in the reporting. What's on ground is different from what is being reported by DHQ, but that is something that we will look at. But one thing I want to talk about is there's a story that's been going around. The president has been issuing challenges up and down. Do this to this terrorist. We will do this to this terrorist. We have done this. I want to see this. And he made another charge. Yes, recently, and he said they should be wiped out the face of the earth. I mean, those are fighting words coming from the president. Is that the change of tone? Will it make any difference?
I think there are two things here, Male Brian. One, either the president is not actually issuing those orders because they are presidential orders. He's the president of Nigeria, the biggest economy in Africa, the biggest country in Africa, or the orders actually emanate him from the office of his media handlers. Because let's go 3 months back after the train attack. There was an order. That order has not been carried out up till now. 108 days after the attack. During the O attack, there was an order. No single individual has been arrested, even though they came back, they said that on Okada riding terrorists. Can you imagine? They are not parachuting themselves into the scenes. No, they are Okada riding terrorists. Most recently, I think about a week ago, they brought the war
To the doorstep of
to
the
the
FCT.
doorstep of the president. Between Kuje Medium Prison to the
State
presidential wing of the airport. How many kilometers? Less than 10 kilometers. Less than 35 kilometers to the State House. If you map it, for instance, you see the distance to all the security establishment. The federal, I overheard somebody was telling me, because I said, but Abuja is being protected by the Gas Brigade. Gas Brigade is the elite military unit that protects the president. The explanation was not clear that no, they prioritize their mandate. Their mandate is to defend the president and his family. So I say, okay, if for instance now, so a threat, a security breach of that magnitude that lasted for almost 3 hours, less than 35 kilometers to where the president was sleeping, is not threat enough
to the president's family.
To the president's family and what of you. So this is the problem. There is order. In fact, when he went there, you know what the president said? Discordant tunes. The Minister of Interior said that it is not the mandate of the prison officials
to defend,
to resist
attacks,
external aggression. Their mandate is still colonial, to repress internal riot. 3 days after that statement, the Interior Minister came with another one, that actually some security personnel left their duty posts without constituted authorities' approval. When the Senate President, you know, lawmakers, when they went there, you know, they saw a business. They were talking about contracts. He said that the correctional service authorities should write to the Senate for approval to install CCTV cameras. CCTV cameras need to be manned. You can't just install a CCTV and go away. No, they should be manned 24/7 by personnel. And that's why there is not any functioning CCTV camera system in the country, maybe minus the State House. So look at Boko Haram, they went there. They told that maybe the 16 commanders that they were asking for when they were in Kuje. But apparently they were not, based on the information we have. They went there, 3 hours. They even preach. Sunday they preach in Igala, they preach in Ibira, they preach in Hausa, they preach in Fulfulde and what have you. They even dash out transport money to the emirates to go. All this thing happened. The highest facility of the Air Force is at the airport, less than 10 kilometers from the scene of crime. So if you look at this thing, I think two things. Maybe the security agencies, you know, are undermining the president. Because when you no longer execute lawful orders, then there's certainly a problem. Or maybe the president doesn't even know that these orders are being issued on his behalf. Because I see no reason why a president of Nigeria will issue an order and it will not be carried out.
Well, it's amazing. I wish we had time to delve into the Oshun incident. I mean, talking about the president order is the topic I'm not sure we'll be able to exhaust. We will be able to exhaust. Someday we would have to sit down and take these orders one after the other and understand what exactly is happening with the order. We've been talking with Nuruddin Abdullah, the editor, 21st Century Chronicle, who has given us very insightful perspectives on some of the issues that have made the front lines or the front pages of the newspapers this morning.